Hello and welcome to the All Round Coaching podcast, episode number 38. This is to pick up from when clients asked us a couple of questions, and one was food and how to structure your day. So I have got Rachel here, who is a coach at the All Round Coaching team. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Claire.
Obviously, Rachel has been a client with me and still is a client, and you've been a client now for 3 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask Rachel a couple of questions because obviously when you started, I think nutrition, again, was one of the biggest struggles, and it is with everyone.
Yeah.
So what were your struggles on, obviously, structuring your food, structuring your day, and what were you met with, and how did you actually overcome it as well?
I think the main thing for me at the start was hitting my protein. Obviously I'd never tracked food before, didn't really know how much protein was in certain foods, and at the start I did struggle to hit it, I think, but as soon as I started to educate myself a little bit on what's in certain foods, how much of certain things I need to eat to hit that goal, it just became massively easy. And I think I overcomplicated it, and I think a lot of people do overcomplicate. They think it's really hard, but actually if you look at what you like and then look at how you can increase it throughout the day, it's not too hard. Especially like breakfast foods. I think most people just have cereal or toast, and then expect to get the protein in for the rest of the day. But actually, if you have quite a high protein breakfast, high protein lunch, high protein dinner, you're kind of all right there.
Yeah, it takes care of itself. And then obviously a note that I've got here is protein each meal, like you've mentioned, and then starting your day with protein. I think that's where a lot of people fall short, because they'll start the day with cereals, breads, and then they've already missed about 30-40 grams of protein there, and they find themselves doing catch up, but also not being satisfied and actually full come lunchtime, so then they overeat. So I do think you're right there, and it does help with your satiety levels, and you're less likely to snack before lunch if you actually get some protein in the day. Did you actually like eating breakfast? Because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't enjoy eating breakfast."
Yeah, I love breakfast.
It's one of the best meals.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are like, "No, I don't eat breakfast," and then I'm met with, "I don't eat a lot," but then they're overeating, they're putting on weight, and it is how you start your day. So I think you're spot on with that one, and making sure that you actually get your protein in as well.
And I think as well, your protein shakes, your protein bars. Obviously, most people who don't have any knowledge of nutrition will think, oh, if I hit my protein, I need to eat the protein bars, the protein shakes. And actually, if you're getting that in from whole foods, and you pick those well, then they're not necessarily at all. I enjoy a protein shake every so often, but I'll usually only do this maybe once a week, maybe, just because I actually enjoy doing it with banana, peanut butter, and it actually tastes nice. But the protein bars, I think I was eating a lot of them at the start. I actually hate them. I think they taste like arse.
I'm at that stage. It was overkill for me, because I think it was associating that protein is a marketing gimmick, but it was I've had a protein bar, it's healthy. And then for me, it wasn't worth having 200 odd calories, because I'm a small person, wasting that on a protein bar when I could have a meal, and I'd feel more satisfied from the meal, and I'd enjoy the meal more as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think they fall in line, making sure that you're eating foods that, one, you're going to enjoy, and two, that's going to make you feel satisfied. Because it's fine feeling full, but if you're actually not enjoying what you're eating, then it does wear off, and then that's when people go a little bit off kilter and they'll overeat, or they'll try and find fucking sweet snacks and they'll overkill them. So making sure that you obviously are including foods that you enjoy, and it isn't supposed to feel like a diet. Is there any point, bar obviously photo shoots, where you felt like you were suffering and restricting?
No, I think the photo shoot, but even for the photo shoot, I wasn't on that low calories. I didn't go to a point where I felt like I was malnourished. And I think as well, because I was on slightly lower calories, I think I struggled a little bit at first, but after a month or so, I was including a lot more veg than I usually would in my foods, higher volume. I was more satisfied. So I think I would maybe not include some fruits and vegetables previously, because I was I'd rather have more rice or more chicken or whatever. Have something that's more, but then the veg actually helps massively with actually feeling satisfied.
Yeah, and it's making sure you get your nutrients in, because I think a lot at the minute, obviously, it is protein, and then everyone else neglects the carbs, the fats, and then the micronutrients, obviously your vitamins and your minerals, which you're going to get from your fruit and your veg. So if you're knocking that whole food group out to either get a few more pieces of chicken or a few more potatoes in, then you're probably going to feel a little bit more deficient in areas with the vitamins that you do actually need. So that inclusive diet and eating whole foods as well, not just processed foods. And I think even if you are someone on the go, which you are anyway, obviously sometimes you are working in the office, you can, what did you batch cooked meals, didn't you? And then you divided it per portion, which I do think's easier. And then one, you've got your meals there, and two, it's less more like thought process over that day as well.
Yeah, that really helps, and I think I'm at a point now where I've fallen out of that routine and I haven't been prepping, and it's just kind of been like on the spot, and I need to get that structure and routine back. I'm not saying I'm gonna like batch cook twice a week and that's it. I think that was a bit like much at the time. Like I think because I was so focused it was fine, but now I feel like maybe like doing it 3 or 4 times a week would be fine, as long as I've got it planned in advance. Then that's going to help. But like doing the batch cooking, that did make things a lot easier.
It's like I always say to people, if you create a little menu for yourself, like 2 to 3 breakfast options, 2 to 3 lunch options, 2 to 3 dinner options, because the less decisions we make, the more likely we are to stick to it anyway. So if you were batch cooking, 1, you're making that food to eat at that time, and 2, you've already got it then for the day after. So it's taking out that thought process, because I think a lot of people think it has to be that Instagram meal prep where there's 20 meals lined up and it's fucking chicken, rice and broccoli. That's when it gets boring, and that's when it does feel like a diet. And I think the psychology behind it, like if you don't tell people that you're on a diet and if you don't associate it with diet, it doesn't feel like a diet.
No.
So I always say I never feel like I'm on a diet. I'm just either eating a little bit more, eating a little bit less. And obviously post-Christmas, I think everybody's out of a routine. So it's probably, I think more people crave now getting back on track, eating more wholesome foods and not fucking cane and all the chocolate. So yeah, I would say listening more to your internal cues if you're actually hungry or you're just eating for the sake of it, because I think when people are in work they do end up grazing, they're not having proper meals and they're probably going too long. I'd always eat at least 2 to 3 hours like a prem baby, but it stops me from them overeating later on. What's your thought process on that?
I think like with me, like I have let myself get to, I've been like massively busy over the past few months, and I have like, there have been days where I've skipped breakfast, which really isn't like me, and then I've got myself to a point where I'm absolutely ravenous by like lunchtime, and then I think I've not actually made anything for my lunch. Shit, what do I do? So I'll start making something, but then I'll be like, oh, some biscuits there, let's have some of them, and it is hard. So I think like when you plan in advance, when you plan out your meal times, eating regularly, like I'm one of those people that like intermittent fasting. I've actually had a conversation today with somebody that they said, oh, I've started intermittent fasting for New Year, and I was like, if it works for you, fine, like absolutely great, but for me, if I skip my breakfast, I'm going to be overeating at night 100%. Like I can just tell that I'll go to the shop on my lunch and I'll be like, right, what can I buy? And I'll walk out with like 2 multi-pack bags of crisps and loads of chocolate, and I'm like, why have I just bought all of this? Like, and it's literally because I just have food in my mind, and it's like all I'm thinking about, which is not really ideal. So planning in advance is always best personally for me.
It came up on EIQ that and about intermittent fasting, and it isn't more beneficial because I think people think it helps more with fat loss. Yes, your eating window's shorter, but from a fat loss standpoint, it sometimes, they did say it can hinder it as well. But I was one of them. I tried it where I had, was it a 6-hour eating window? But I'd go that long without food that I had no control then when I ate food. So I was hungry, but then I didn't stop when I probably was full because I'd not fucking eaten. So definitely find what works for you, but don't do intermittent fasting if you think that it's going to speed fat loss up. It won't, and sometimes it can be a little bit more detrimental to people. Especially if your relationship with food isn't that great anyway. I would just say start it basic, have balanced meals, and do what you do where you actually plan the times in, plan your meals in, and know what you're having. Less decisions, less overwhelm, and you're less likely to fucking inhale a small village. So yeah, I would do that one. When we did EIQ as well, because you've got your internal cues and your external cues, so a lot of people post-Christmas are going to be more inclined to stick to a diet, but then emotional eating can come in. Sometimes people feel guilty if they've done a week and they don't think it's perfect, and then they'll end up comfort eating as well. So was that ever a case for you?
Yeah, I think like previously, definitely like over Christmas, I'd be like, right, there's all this food around, like I need to take advantage and just eat everything like right now. And like I'd be one of those people that like gets rid of all the bad food before like January comes around, so that there's no bad food left in the house and I can start afresh. Whereas now my house is absolutely full of chocolate, and I know that like every day I'll probably have a little bit of chocolate, and that's absolutely fine. I'm including that in because I enjoy it, and I'm not likely to get to a point where I'm just going to eat a full terrace chocolate orange in 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's having that control and not just mindlessly eating, but people have that assumption where they have to get rid of everything out of the house and then they deprive themselves of it, and then you probably end up wanting it more. Like, it can feel like a treat if you have it less often, but you don't have to remove it from the house so you don't eat it. It's probably learning more control, and obviously that's where your breath work comes in with that, having a pause, a little bit of a delay and a distraction. Rather than just eating the whole Terry's chocolate orange, just include it into your diet. It doesn't have to be extreme and you can still enjoy it. But again, people just associate that I'm going to start January and want to eat fucking lettuce leaves and no chocolate, and they remove everything they enjoy, and that's when they don't stick to it. It's not sustainable and they don't continue it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on that anyway. So don't remove foods that you actually enjoy. Obviously, if you find yourself more comfort eating, emotionally eating, peer pressure to eat or not eat, and following fad diets, just reach out to one of us. We can have a chat with you. Obviously, EIQ has been completed, so I'm going to dick swing and say I'm a fully qualified nutritionist now. And obviously, Rachel got to watch and take part in this as well. So we do have quite a broad spectrum on not only the nutrition side, but the behaviours, behaviour change, habits, and relationship with food we can help people with. And I think that's where a lot of people do struggle.
Yeah.
So we can help cover that off as well. One thing I will say, if you are entering, I don't like saying diet, but looking to clean up your nutrition a little bit, is the food quality absolutely matters for body composition and the fuel that you're going to take into your sessions. So I was guilty of this in the past, where I would fill my calories. I had a calorie set target with 2 protein bars a day and some chockies, and then as long as I ate what my protein target was, I was fine. But obviously the food quality does matter, especially for your energy and your actual intensity during sessions. So would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I think I can definitely tell a difference with my training when either I'm eating really well or eating like you say, just like protein bars, things like that. I can tell a difference in myself, like my fatigue levels. And I think just getting those nutrients in it's actually really important, and not everyone realises that. They think as long as if it fits your macros or whatever, like that's not the case. I think definitely like your fruit, your veg, getting those vitamins in.
Yeah, it's getting that balance, obviously whole foods versus your processed, and that's where the 80-20 comes in. So obviously 80% of your diet should be made up of whole foods and not 80% of processed foods, which what a lot of people are doing now. But I think people assume it has to be 100% whole foods or nothing at all, and they go with that all or nothing mentality. But look past the numbers. Like, yes, calories matter if you're wanting to lose body fat and be in a deficit, but it isn't just about the numbers, it's what you include in them numbers as well. So I will wrap it up there. Hopefully these bite-sized podcasts are a little bit more helpful. If Rachel's got anything she'd like to add, now is your chance.
In the spot now. I'm okay.
No, but if anyone's got any questions or they do need any help in regards to the nutrition, the journey, or just getting started, you can drop us a message, or we do have a website that you can visit as well. And we do include more than one service to be able to help people with app access, 42 Elite, and obviously you've got the full coaching aspect as well. So we'll leave it there for now. Say goodbye, Rachel.
Bye.
And thank you for listening.